All right, let's get back into some connections. Now, I usually try to do this on Sundays, but this Sunday I'm going to be busy with a few other things. So I figured why not get it done on Saturday? There's one other thing I should mention is that I have already looked at today's puzzle. In fact, I found out I was going to be busy on Sunday after I'd already started doing this puzzle, but before I'd put in any answers. So that's actually pretty good timing. I don't know if the answers that I'm gonna put are gonna be correct, but we'll we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. This is the connections for August 2nd, 2025. Connections number 783. I have so far amassed a 39-day streak. Pretty okay. Pretty happy with that. Let's see if we can add one more to that today. Now, these categories, I've already looked at them. I've taken out my notepad, my physical notepad, and also my notepad on Windows, and I've put what I think are going to be the answers. But let me walk you through what the process was like for me. So I looked at these immediately. I saw this category: stick, glue, affix, adhere. Stuff that means, you know, like attach something to something else, right? So, reasonable. The second thing I noticed was these things: split, strike, foul, spare. These are bowling terms. I don't play bowling. I don't watch bowling. I only know bowling terms just because of, I don't know, the Big Lebowski probably. That's most of my knowledge of bowling terminology probably just it comes from having watched that movie about 5 or 6 times. So that was the second thing I noticed. The third thing I noticed was uh, Congress, intimacy, relations. These are terms, like very, very formal terms for having relations, right? So like Congress and intimacy in particular are often used to describe, people having sex. If you just want to say it as though you're an 18th century uh, Victorian baron or something, or like you're at a Renaissance fair or something. These are the words he would use to describe. And then I was like, okay, well, what else could fit into this? I spotted commerce. Right, so far so good. Three categories uh, that seem like they're fine, but that brings us to a bit of an issue. And at this point, I'm gonna pull up my notepad, which has those three categories that I just entered. Because if these are indeed the three categories, that means the fourth category must be uh, cleave, oversight, garnish, and sanction. Let me make it consistent. Garnish, sanction. Now, what is the issue with this? The issue with this is that I spent multiple hours not understanding what the possible relationship between these words could be, to the point where I became convinced that I'd made some mistake. So I started thinking, okay, garnish could mean like you garnish somebody's wages as a like a maybe a disciplinary thing, or they lost a lawsuit or something. So that's like a penalty. A sanction can also be a penalty, and this is a bit of a stretch, but like oversight could be like, I don't know, you're placed under probation or something. That's a form of oversight. I was like, okay, maybe that's a thing, but then like cleave couldn't possibly be in this category if that was the answer. And then not only that, but nothing else out of these other 12 could even be the fourth term of that. I guess maybe foul, right? Like you fouled somebody, or like somebody fouls someone. So I eventually abandoned that. Then I started thinking, well, hang on a second. Cleave can also mean like stick to something. Cleave could be like it's an unusual usage of this term, but it can mean the same thing as adhere. You cleave to, adhere to, stick to. I was like, well, but then which one of these do I take out? Maybe stick. Maybe stick is in this category, like stick as a metaphorical punishment, the carrot and the stick. But I was like, okay, that's kind of a little bit too obscure. But then it struck me, cleave can also mean to split something in two. And before the epiphany happened, I was actually thinking that maybe we go with the more straightforward meaning of cleave, split, and maybe like you strike something and you break it. I ran into a brick wall, but then I thought, hang on, cleave can mean two different things. It can mean split something in two, or two things sticking together. Uh, then I thought about sanction, because if you sanction something, that means you allow it. But sanctions can also be a punishment. Then I thought garnish can mean like you add something, like you garnish a drink. But as I also mentioned, garnish can also mean like you're garnishing somebody's wages, so like you're taking something away. Oversight can also mean two things. You, uh, like you're providing oversight, like an accountability measure, or oversight can also be like you're overlooking something. So then I finally came to the conclusion that these four are are actually in their own category, and the category must mean words that have two different, somewhat contradictory meanings. And I'm pretty confident this is going to be the answer. If I'm wrong, then it's going to be just all the way back to the drawing board. But let's see. So cleave, oversight, garnish, sanction. Cleave, oversight, garnish, sanction. Let's see if I'm correct. And I also think this is, if I'm correct about this, I think this is going to be purple. Yes. Contronyms. What a now there's a $20 word. Contronyms, words that can mean opposite things. I'm really proud of myself for getting this. And I think the blue category out of all of these is going to be the Congress intimacy, because these are really unusual usages of these terms. So let's put that in. Excuse me, man, how is that? How is that? Green? No, this is wrong. This is wrong because what? Foul, split, spare. The bowling terms are blue? The bowling terms are blue? Man, get get lost, man. That's not reasonable. Whatever, man. This I think is mislabeled because I'm pretty sure Congress green is going to be far below blue. Let me also guess the overall answers. I think it's going to be just slightly below 50%. The overall solve rate. Am I right about that? Eh, I was in the ballpark. 60%. I guess people were a lot more up on their old timey Victorian speak than I gave them credit for. And let me show you one thing. Yep, green was far, 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 far below blue. So if blue and green had been switched, then we would have had reverse rainbow, and the order in which people found them would have also been the the rainbow. All right. Well, I guess you know what. No reverse rainbow, but another purple first, another perfect puzzle, and another addition to the streak, and with this video that's just over 10 minutes now, I'm gonna say thank you for watching. Hope you'll join me next week for our next attempt at doing some connections, and until then, take care.